Alright, let's rock and roll, babes. So today, I feel like I watch a lot of podcasts, and they try not to allude to what time of day it is, but no, it's 10 a.m. And I say that because I expected more light to be coming through, so we are using a supplemental lamp. I feel I need to buy more lights for this space. Like, I want to install like a key light that goes here. But then I wonder, will I ever want to change the landscape? I guess I just change everything if I change the landscape. I really want to I want to buy a little couch. This is what I want to do. I want to buy a little couch. I want to put it in this corner of my room so that I can record off of the couch and the camera. But then I would really need light because most of the time I'm recording out of my bedroom window. Because this is not a professional podcast and I don't have any money. But I want to get more into freaking being better, so I might do that. This is water, by the way. I don't feel the need to explain that to you. So for the city that I'm living in, it's a little gooky, gucky, rainy outside. I don't know why though. I don't know what it is about today that it wants to be nasty outside, but it's still hot. That's what's making me so mad. It could look like crap outside and still be 600 degrees. I want to wear sweaters. I want to wear pants without catching fire. No Katniss Everdeen, but whatever. Today, we are getting in the spooky mood, like outside is also getting into, and we were talking Beetlejuice. Cool. So, Beetlejuice. Now, let me tell you about this movie because I saw when the play first came out, the Broadway play. I mean, not like your child's school play. I kept seeing clips from it, and I was like, "Oh, that's that movie." But I never the only thing I know about this movie is that they have to say his name 3 times. I didn't know anything else about this movie. I didn't get it, and I would see Halloween costumes and be like, "Oh, that's from Beetlejuice. Oh, that's Beetlejuice." Da, da, da. I'm like, how? How? Explain. And so watching this, I also then proceeded to watch Heathers, which I'll also talk about. This movie was a roller coaster and a half. So let's just jump right into it because I am just going to give you all of my first time thoughts. And then like all of these other movies, people who have seen these movies forever can just kind of chime in and explain why I'm wrong or what they think, or let's just have an open dialogue. Let's have a discussion. That's the whole point. I just want to talk about movies. And sometimes my friends aren't watching the same movies as me because I'm watching Beetlejuice and not whatever. And so I just want to talk about movies. Just talk to me about movies, please. Please. So that's what we're doing. So Beetlejuice, the summary: the spirits of a deceased couple are harassed by an unbearable family that has moved into their home and hire a malicious spirit to drive them out. Hey, I just read that for the first time. First take. Anyway, this movie came out in 1988. This is a Tim Burton film. Now, y'all know Tim Burton. I'm not going to give him any. He doesn't need a platform. The man is standing on a stage constantly. He doesn't need a platform. Y'all know Tim Burton, okay? If you've seen half the movies in the universe, you've seen Tim Burton. But this is one of his classics. This is one of the originals. Second, we have writers Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson for the story, and then the screenplay is also Michael McDowell and Warren Scarron. Scarron? It's a double A moment. Y'all know I can't read. Didn't get any background on them. That's cool. That show. I don't know if I want background on them because this story is insane. I don't know how you come up with this. I watched this on Hulu. Hulu's got the hits. I won't even lie. Hulu's got a couple stories behind them. They got a couple classics up their sleeve, and Beetlejuice is apparently one of them. I feel like I most specifically attach horror and finding horror films on Hulu. I feel like a lot of the scary movies I've seen, and the good ones, might I add, have been from Hulu. The only good scary movie sequence I've seen on Netflix, which this movie, you could argue is not scary, it's just kind of creepy, was... But the good horror movie I've seen on Netflix was, the 1984... Is that the... I forget what it's called. But it's, the one that's in 1984, 1998, and then it's not 2000s. I forget the sequence, but you know where it's like 3 different horror movies and they're all connected. Scare Street or something like that. I'll put it in. You'll see it. Please, I won't even do this myself. You'll see it in the film, in the right here where I put stuff. Also, I got 2 new pillowcases, 2 silk pillowcases. Once again, this is my bedroom. Welcome, welcome. So we got a little bed update, got little silk pillowcases, got me a little blankies. I did proceed to go to TJ Maxx and get 2 Ray Dunn blankets. So whenever I cozy up, I do have to remember that I am a Ray Dunn slut. Yeah, that's totally random, but there you go. So characters. I wanted to spend a lot of time on characters, even before we get into reviews, because there's a lot to say. And similar to how, like, if you know Tim Burton, a lot of the characters, you know these people. You know who they are, you know what they do, you know where they've been. Like, I don't have to say a lot about who these people are, but I'm going to, because they're just that guy. Half these people are that guy. So I wanted to get into characters before I got into reviews, because as soon as reviews are over, I'm going to jump into themes and questions I need answers. So stick with me now. So starting off with the couple, the deceased couple who's being tormented, we have Adam, played by Alec Baldwin. Now this is the Alec Baldwin, but for people who are in my generation, I only know Alec Baldwin old. It's similar to like us being like, was there ever a young Morgan Freeman? Like, I've never seen this man not gray haired. So when I Googled the character list for this, and I saw that Alec Baldwin, that was Alec Baldwin, the man that I had seen on the screen, I said, you're lying. So you're lying, because I don't know who that man is. It can't possibly be Alec Baldwin. But I think it's similar, and I wrote this down. I think for Gen Alpha or Gen Beta, like when Adam Sandler is still kicking and screaming, making movies at 80 years old, and you know, when you get older, you get a little bigger, you get a little smaller, you get a little wrinklier, whatever, people don't believe that you once used to be a 20-year-old whippersnapper. So I think similar to how Gen Alpha is going to Google Adam Sandler and be like, he used to look like that. Like, that's how I was looking. Alec Baldwin used to look like that? Like, who is that man? But that's literally just Alec Baldwin in his 20s or 30s. I don't know how old he was in this movie. I didn't Google that part. But I was confusion. Because I was like, who is that man? That man is not Alec Baldwin. That's not him. But yeah. Oh, also, as you can hear in my voice, I'm getting over what I'm self-diagnosing as a sinus infection. Also, I cut my finger the other day. Look at me, I'm just a mess. I cut my finger, and I went to an urgent care, and they gave me antibiotics. And at the same time, I started to just get so sneezy, and I kind of have a sinus headache right now. But just like sinus pressure just through the roof, just couldn't do it. And so I believe that I had a sinus headache because I started to feel better as soon as the antibiotics started to kick in. And usually they don't prescribe antibiotic. I Googled it. Again, all this is Google based. They don't always prescribe antibiotics for sinus infections because they're things that just kind of go away. You just kind of like weather through the storm and they go away. So whatever, I feel better. I had multiple nights this week and this weekend of just terrible sleep, terrible feelings, all that good stuff. So I'm finally back on track. And that's why you're getting a podcast episode, and that's why you didn't get one last week. Also, the podcast episode I tried to record last week just cracked the bed on me. I got a new laptop, thank the Lord. But my old laptop, which is actually right here on the floor next to me, I've been having major issues with for a long time. So it finally just gave up. And the episode from last week was all kinds of messed up. And I didn't want to put out an episode with no video because I am a video podcaster first and foremost. Shout out to the people who listen on audio. It's very few. It's maybe 1 or 2 plays over there. But I love watching podcasts via video. I love seeing the person talking, getting images of what they're talking about, because then I'm just more engaged. Let's be honest. I'm a visual learner, speaker, engager, so there. So yeah, I got a new computer, I don't know where I was going with that, but also say the show should be running a little bit more smoothly. You should get an episode this week. I'm going to try to edit this as soon as possible for Thursday. You should get another episode next week. I'm going to try to do Heather's. If not Heather's, we're going to do Candyman. I got movies up my sleeve. I just got to shake them out. I just got to get them out my arm. So yeah, back to Beetlejuice. So Adam, check. Mr. Alec Baldwin, the Mr. Alec Baldwin. Next, we have Barbara. Okay, Barbara is another icon living, okay? No Jaden Smith. Icon living. Okay. She just has a little bit more of a narrow gamut. Now, Mr. Alec Baldwin has been in everything, and I do love someone who's been in everything, but at the same time, baby, you don't need to be in everything. Like, you could slow down. So I think Miss Barbara gave us a very good intentional film run, okay? This is my queen girl boss, Thelma from Thelma and Louise, Dottie Hinson from A League of Her Own, and this is Miss Little from Stuart Little. Once again, I am Gen Z, proving that, like, Gen Z doesn't notice anything, but I would have never known that this is Miss Stuart Little. This Miss Stuart Little, but younger. But she looks like Miss Stuart Little. Now, when they told me that, I was like, oh yeah, that's Miss Stuart Little. Like, duh. But when they told me that Alec Baldwin was him, I said, you're lying. You're lying. So, shout out to Miss Barbara Queen for her skincare routine and stand up on her sunscreen because she looked good. Okay? Now, let me shut up, because there's a whole politics about how women have to look in media and women have to always appear youthful, where men can age and grow and change and become different people. Women have to look the same or they're scrutinized, whatever. So all that with a grain of salt, she looks good. So that's our couple, right? Adam and Barbara. Those people die. There's a lot of death in this film. Those two die. They freaking drive off of the side of a bridge. Now, that happened in such a quick split second that at first I was like, what do you mean they just died? I didn't even see it. I think I was looking away and they died. I was like, what the heck? Because it happens in the first like 10 minutes. But before that, well, let's finish the rest of the characters and then I'll like kind of explain the synopsis and we'll go into that. So let me not get distracted. Beetlejuice, Mr. Beetlejuice himself, played by Mr. Michael Keaton. Again, Michael Keaton acts like capital the Michael Keaton. Hard man, 75, 85. He worked day and night. I mean, 1975 to 1985. He's 75 to 85 years old. Sorry. But he gets Beetlejuice. He follows that up with Batman in 1989. Again, this came out in 1988. So Batman in 1989. Jack Frost in 1998. He was also in Herbie's Fully Unloaded car, like that movie with Lindsay Lohan. We're moving into the Gen Z classics, I should say. So Herbie's Fully Unloaded, I believe that's the name of the movie. Cars, he's Chuck Hicks. Ken in Toy Story. Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. And recently in Morbius and The Flash. He's kind of going loco crazy, if you ask me. Michael Keaton is a hard-working man, okay? So just like, again, somehow they cherry-picked the actors of the 80s and put them in this film. I should have done a little bit more research, again, before I went into this. I try to do as much research as possible, but sometimes I just need to film it. And kind of like the aspect of, like, done is better than perfect. Like, sometimes I just need to get it on the camera. I said on the page. Sometimes I just need to get it in cam and then move on and kind of add a supplemental data later. But yeah. Moving down, we have Miss Juno, who is Adam and Barbara's like caseworker on the other side. She's played by Miss Sylvia Sidney. Again, continuing with the powerhouses. Miss Sylvia Sidney has been working the screen since the 1920s. Okay, she was with us until 1999. National treasure. But I'm just gonna go straight to her IMDb page because she actually was born in the Bronx. She's of an immigrant family, and she went through the Theater Guild School, which is like, if you don't know, like the school for acting in theater. And she has been strutting the stage since a young 15. So I'm just gonna read off some names because again, like sometimes I read these films and they mean nothing to me, but they mean everything to people who have seen them. So if we're going all the way back to the 1920s, I'm gonna pull out some of the IMDb's that are a little bit highly rated because those are usually the ones that people saw. So we have City Streets. She plays Nan Cooley in 1931. We have Street Scene. She plays Rose Moret in 1931. Moving all the way up, I'm thinking like Fury, sorry. Fury. She plays Catherine Grant in 1936. Sabotage, she plays Miss Verloc in 1936. Again, looking for like the more highly rated shows in TV. The Shadow Box, Magnum PI, the OG, she did an episode of that. The Brass Ring, we're now in the 80s, okay. Finnegan Begin Again, excuse me. Then Beetlejuice in 88. Yeah, love her. Love. But yeah, just like classic, like when I say classics, sorry to everyone born in the 70s. I'm talking about the 70s and 80s. But when I think classics, I'm thinking 1930s, 1920s, like film before film as we know it. Sorry, everyone born in the... My parents are born in the 70s. No shade, okay? No shade. It's just what I think classics. I think 70s, 80s, maybe 60s, okay? Don't sue me. But yeah. So going down the list, okay. So again, I should have finished my research here, but I just need to get this recorded. We got Mr. Charles Dietz, played by Jeffrey Duncan Jones. He was in the 1985 Transylvania 5000. Again with Miss Gina. Now I love a little overlap. So Miss Gina Davis, they played in that film together. He's also a hardworking man. He was in Twilight Zone, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Without a Clue, Stuart Little, Who's Your Caddy. We haven't seen him since 2019, but he deserves a break. Not we, sorry. And then we have Miss Catherine O'Hara. I'm just going to quickly pull up her IMDb because she deserves a clap and a fucking half. All right. If you watch Game Theory, I was like, what is that movie that I'm thinking about? Okay. This is the Catherine O'Hara, by the way. I'm just going to start putting the in front of all these actors and actresses' names because it's the Catherine O'Hara, it's the Michael Keaton, it's the, who else? What did I say? The, Alec Baldwin, because these are some acting girlies, and the Sylvia Sidney. So again, just to go through, like, I'm literally just going to start reading her IMDb because she has been working. She has been working. And I can't even go into, like, pick favorites. I'm just going to start reading because the list is that long. Her first credit is in 1975, but let's move up a little bit. We have Double Negative. She plays Judith. The Last Polka, she plays Sylvie Lemon. Heartburn, she plays Betty. We're in 1986. And we have Beetlejuice in 1988. Martin Short Goes to Hollywood in 1989. Dick Tracy in 1990. Dream On in 1990. Home Alone in 1990. I don't mean to scream, sorry. Home Alone, and then subsequently all the rest of the Home Alones. A Simple Twist of Fate in 1994. Pippi Longstocking in 1997. I remember that. Speaking of Sex in 2001. Surviving Christmas in 2004. 6 Feet Under in 2003. Chicken Little in 2005. Monster House in 2006. Brother Bear in 2006. Curb Your Enthusiasm, she did an episode of that in '09. Jeez. 30 Rock, she did an episode of that. Frankenweenie in 2012. Modern Family, an episode there. The Addams Family 2019, she did a voice there. Elemental, I just watched that last night. She did a voice there. My girl, again, the Catherine O'Hara, plays Miss Delilah, or the mother. Okay, sorry, I should have prefaced. Charles Dietz, Delilah Dietz, Lydia Dietz, Otho, they're the family that move in and start tormenting the Adam and Barbara. I can't remember the other family's name. It's like plain as fuck. It's like the Maton houses or something. Anyway, I should know, but whatever. But Catherine O'Hara, okay? Schitt's Creek. Totally forgot about Schitt's Creek. Miss Catherine O'Hara, the Catherine O'Hara, to be correct. Don't come at her sideways. And then we have everyone's favorite, Winona Ryder. Again, I told you I just watched Heathers. She's another Ben in Everything, Ben Everywhere powerhouse. They're actually bringing her back for Beetlejuice Part 2 that they're doing soon. And then lastly, we have Glenn Shaddix, who plays Otho, who passed away in 2010. So there's been a couple memoriams of him, but again, he was a great actor. He's done quite a few things. He was also in Heathers, I believe. I'm pretty sure I saw him in Heathers. Or I watched another movie where I was like, that's him. He's him. It's him. H-I-M. Like, everyone in this movie just... Like, if the storyline was crazy and it was like, oh, this story is interesting, like, I want to see it, the actors and actresses make you think, I want to see that even more. I want to see that to the umpteenth extent. Like, I want to know, I want to go there. Where's that? I'm going to put it in. I want to go there. Like, I want to be in the time that was there. I don't know if I want to live, I don't know if I would have wanted to live in the 80s, but I want to go there. I would pay money, good money, to have seen this in theatres in 1988. That's it. Yeah, cool. So, now moving into reviews, because again, this is a film that did crazy numbers. It did 73.5 million in the box office. Pretty much positive reviews across the board. It has an 86% tomato meter, an 82% audience score, and a 7.5 IMDb, which, as we know, is a higher IMDb score, a 7. The critics' consensus, brilliantly bizarre, overflowing with ideas, Beetlejuice offers some of Michael Keaton's most deliciously manic work, creepy, funny, for the whole family. Again, people were taking their kids to see this movie, like... It was creepy, and it kept me up at night, because I kept thinking, how'd they do it? Like, it's one of those movies that you're like, what did I just see? And you have to, like, you watch it, but then you have to think about it. And then you think about watching it again to see stuff that you didn't see before. And, like, that's why it keeps you coming back. It's the creep factor, it's the ick, it's the acting that makes you just want to keep reattaching yourself to the story. Okay, so positive views. Pauline Kael, who's a sweet, I see her all the time. She's a sweetie. Though a lot of Burton's moves don't connect, enough of them do make... Oh. Guys, here we go. Me not knowing how to read. Okay. Pauline Kael says, though a lot of Burton's moves don't connect, enough of them do to make this spotty, dissonant film a movie comedy classic. I'm not reading it again, but yeah. So, I would say, I don't even know if it's that disconnected. I think it's like, just a lot of stuff isn't explained. A lot of stuff isn't verbatim, like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And, like, I didn't have a lot of ability to, like, predict where they were going to go next, like, what they were going to do, like, what was going to happen. There's obviously some parts where, like, you see Otto? Why am I saying Otto? Is it Otto or Otto? Whatever. You see Otto, like, make eye contact with the book, and then you're like, oh, he's gonna take it. Like, it's little moments like that where, like, they feed you the next plot point of the movie, or Tim Burton does. He feeds you the next plot point of the movie because he wants you to get, like, he wants you to follow along. He wants you to know, have an insider knowledge. But a lot of times the actual story, I was like, so how'd you even come up with that? Because like it's so weird. It's so odd. It's so... I just can't describe it. Steve Rose says, the story almost comes off the rails, but Beetlejuice's charm lies more in the execution. The movie is crammed with visual invention and snappy comedy. Which is crazy because, so, these positive reviews are almost negative because I'm like, girlie, you're just being a little mean. You're being a little shady. Because they kept saying this movie, like, didn't... But again, similar to how, like, Harry Potter, the film, didn't, like, piece together, like, Legos. I think, like, it's a little bit jumpy, but overall, you get it. Like, stop acting like you don't get it. Like, you're acting like it's not still a good story. You're just acting kind of funny, and I don't like that. I'd prefer if you, like, got with the program, big dog. So, it is a little jumpy, a little snappy, but I still think it puzzle pieces together in a way that we all know makes sense. Like, come on. Put it together, people. Okay, last positive review, Jay Boyar says, Beetlejuice doesn't fully emerge until the film is half over, but Michael Keaton makes a strong enough impression in the role to explain why the picture is named after his character. Which is crazy because, okay, he's right. Beetlejuice as a character doesn't, fully emerge. Isn't like shown, displayed. Like Michael Keaton doesn't get to act until like 50%, like whatever. But I think the storyline of these two people dying and then this family moving in and then them being confused and having to learn how to be ghosts is a thrilling enough storyline. Like, do we not wonder what's going to happen when we die, that we're not, like, thrilled by the idea of this family playing, like, our wildest fantasies of what happens when you die? Wake up, sheeple. Like, I don't know. Maybe the 80s was a lot more critical, but maybe I'm coming from the perspective of, like, it's a known classic, and it's known, well-liked, but when you're first seeing it in the 80s, and it's, like, a brand new idea, you're like, ugh, what just happened? So, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Or maybe this is, because these people are newer. Again, I should always be looking at the dates on these reviews. Ugh. But yeah, I also just watched a video randomly that was like, Rotten Tomatoes is so untrustworthy because it's just a bunch of BS. Like, it's not real, whatever. But let's be so real. If it exists and people are watching a movie for the first time, they're going to click on it. And it doesn't matter how, like, satisfactory, whatever. Like, you can go watch a movie and have your own opinion and think it's a great film. And it can go have a bad review on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, one of my favorite films is, in addition, one of my favorite kid films is Baby Geniuses. Baby Geniuses has some of the worst reviews on TV, period. Like, has some of the worst reviews on IMDb, on Rotten Tomatoes, on whatever, but you couldn't tell me that that film is not the best film I've ever seen, because I just love the concept. Babies talking, again, playing with, like, what if babies have their own language? What if we just, like, turn that into 90 minutes? What happens when we die? Turn it into 90 minutes. Like, these existential questions that we all want to know the answer to, done in a very creative 90 minutes, 100 minutes. That's what I want to see, people. Similar to the early 2000s films. Again, what did I just watch? Because I don't have a memory. I'm gonna have to go to my own YouTube channel. You're kidding. Oh, Bottoms. I just watched Bottoms. Where was I coming from? Kind of like Bottoms, where it's like, I want this and this formula. Piece it together. That's what I want to see. This is a similar. I want this. I want the existential question. I want funny or kooky, crazy, creepy. I want you to piece it together, create comedy, okay? Like, I want a weird, funny, like most 90s comedies or 2000s white poster comedies were like 27 Dresses. What if this one girl, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, finally meets the man of her dreams and he's nothing like she imagined? Bam, run it. 90 minutes. Give it to me. So, that's what I'm saying. I think it did a good job of combining an existential question and the weirdest possible answer you could give to that existential question. Cool. So, again, it was kind of hard to find negative reviews. I had to click through to find it, whatever. It's kind of audacious for you to give Beetlejuice a negative review, but but hey, the critic score is 80%, which means 20% of people didn't like it. So, Gene Siskel says, an overly ambitious special effects comedy obviously influenced by the success of Ghostbusters. Now, this cued me to think of what other films came out around the time that Beetlejuice came out. And we do have a lot of kooky, quirky... Okay. We've got E.T. We got Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Top Gun. Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in the late 80s. Okay, go off, Queen. Lethal Weapon. Here we go. I'm just going to go straight to the IMDb list. Top grossing 80s films. E.T., which came out in 82. I said late 80s, and it gave me 80s films. E.T. came out in 82. Batman came out in 89. We knew that. Back to the Future in 85. Top Gun in 86. Back to the Future 2 came out in 86, and Back to the Future 1 came out... Whoa, I didn't know that. Rocky 4. Rambo. That man Matt Stallone was working hard, huh? Anyway, also say Ghostbusters isn't even on here, first of all, in the top grossing movies of the 80s. 84. Okay. So we have Ghostbusters in 84, we have this movie in 88. Sure. I'll give it to him. Anyway, I think it matched the films of its time. I think that's a reason it succeeded. It was matching the caliber of films at its time. Because we're talking Ghostbusters, Top Gun, Back to the Future, like, that's film right there. Those are all films. Like, I don't know how to describe that. Like, now, I don't know if I've had if there's a movie that's come out that I'm like, ooh, film. Besides, what the frick did I just say? Besides Bottoms. That's film, okay? That's film TV. I mean, film movie, whatever. I'm trying to think of another movie that's come out that I'm like, ooh, film. Barbie, film, okay. Oppenheimer, I guess, film. I didn't watch it, but film. That's it, girl. They made another I actually like the second Top Gun. I don't know why, but I actually like that. That was last year or 2 years ago, I think. Film. I agree. Okay, whatever. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe there are films coming out, but I'm kidding. What else is coming out that I'm, like, excited to see? Oh, the new Hunger Games is coming out. Film. Okay. I'm gonna think on that. Because I think there's a handful of Christmas or winter films that are coming out that I might be interested in. But yeah, film, okay? Second and third review I'm going to read really quickly because we're running out of time. I've been talking for 40 minutes. We could shut the fuck up. I could just shut the fuck up. But Janet Maslin says, these actors, not surprisingly, are limited by the stupidity of their material. Again, when you're getting... Okay, right. So, all of these actors, like I said, are the blank. The Winona Ryder. The Michael Keaton. The Sylvia. The Catherine. The Charles. The Jeffrey. The Gina Davis. The Alec Baldwin. So, it's like, when we are saying that we put all these people together for a film about what? A film about a demon? Doing what? And the SFX, again, our 80s SFX, they're bad. They're really bad. Like, I want them. And the thing is, when Beetlejuice 2 comes out, people are going to complain, it's not the original. The least is we're going to get decent effects, like SFX. We're going to get decent SFX. I think they're going to do a really good job at hiring practical effects artists as well, and really good makeup artists. Fingers crossed. But at most, we're going to get better SFX because they weren't that good. It's the freaking 80s. Even Back to the Future and like Ghostbusters. Why do I keep saying Ghostbusters had terrible SFX. So I'm like, dude, help me. Help me help you. Like, pull on my leg here. Like, try harder. And maybe this was like the top of the chain at the time, but baby girl, I could use a little bit more, but whatever. The movie is all anticlimax once we realize it's going to be about gimmicks and not about characters. Yeah, it's goofy, quirky, kooky. It's a family film. It's family fun. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, dude. Okay, so with Puppy Love, right? We have two characters who are lovable and quirky in their own way. And we don't get a lot of character. We get a little bit of character development, but it's not so focused on them. It's kind of just like, and hijinks ensues. Like, that's my favorite thing to say with the film where I'm like, and nothing really happens. It's just like, and then hijinks ensues. Like, the movie, and then this happens, and this happens, and blah, 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 and like, just a bunch of crap just floods through the film. And it's not necessarily the best storyline, but like, either we love the characters so we stick around, or we love the actors so we stick around. This was maybe a film in the 80s where like, and hijinks ensues, but we love the actors so we stick around. Again, Miss Winona Ryder, if I just keep saying everybody's name over again, like, you should realize. Michael Keaton, whatever, like, we just love them so we stick around, we go forth. Again, Michael Keaton doing this and then following it up with Batman. Whoa. Actor. Okay, it's a little bit similar, but not similar. I guess for the modern day equivalent, the first thing I can think of is Tom Holland. Tom Holland? That's not my name. Tom Holland. I'm thinking. Forgive me, Gen Z, for thinking in my head Tom Holland and getting confused and making sure it's not Timothée Chalamet. But no, I'm talking about Tom Holland. And being Spider-Man and then turning around and doing that thing on Apple TV. I think it's on Apple TV, where he said he has to like take a break from acting because of it, because he completely changed who he was to do the film. Like, it takes a lot to go from one end of the spectrum to the next. So like, the fact that this man did it, like, whoa, like, just shows how amazing he is at his craft. So I loved it. I agree with both sides of the critics a little bit, as you can see in between. To kind of finish it off with themes, my ideas, my reviews, questions I need answers. I have 2 questions here. My entire time watching this movie, I was thinking like, okay, but what is Beetlejuice? Because like, the family, like, it's so clear that like, okay, the dead, like, Adam and what that girl name is, Adam and Barbara are ghosts, right? If Adam and Barbara are ghosts, and then Miss Sylvia, Miss Juno is their caseworker, but she's also a ghost. What is Beetlejuice? Because people are like so afraid of him, so scared of him. Is he a demon? But then like, who else is a demon? And how do we not know he's like, I don't know. It's kind of just like, you're confused. It's like, what? But yeah, so according to a Reddit comment, and of course we all know Reddit is end all. Reddit is king. A Reddit comment said, in the original script, he was explicitly described as a demon. After a few rewrites, he got toned down, and the film moved forward towards a comedy instead of a true horror, and he became a little bit less defined. Now, I can't imagine this as a true horror film. Again, there's a little bit, maybe they added so much comedy that, like, so much hijinks that, like, I can't imagine it as a horror film. But again, I did sit up at night thinking about all the creepy images that I had just seen, so I was a little afraid of it. I don't know. I guess with Ghostbusters being a scary, it's like a horror comedy. I love a good horror comedy. I just watched Haunted Mansion again. Movie's interesting, but it is a good horror comedy. Eddie Murphy carries, obviously. I do like a horror comedy. I do like to laugh at my horror movies, but I just can't imagine this. Like, it's not even a thriller. It's really a horror comedy. Now, if they would have told me it was going to be a thriller and not a horror, I would have believed them. Like, there was going to be a little bit more suspense added. He was truly going to be a demon taunting them. Kind of like an Eve and Apple situation where, like, they were going to be ghosts, scared of being ghosts. getting decently good at trying to scare the people that they're with, but like not so good that they still needed the demon's help. They get the demon in there, the demon freaks everybody out. Like the effects that, or like the way that Beetlejuice scares people is still not as scary as it could be, right? Like, you know, anyway. So, second question, how does Beetlejuice the movie compare to the musical? So, I found this article that brings up like the exact, the Maitlands, that's their last name, who brings up the exact comparisons of like what's there and what's not there. So, basically in the movie, Alto was an interior designer, and not a con man. He was like kind of a life, yeah, he was an interior designer, but according to the musical, he's like a con man and a life coach, and he does a lot of like convincing Catherine O'Hara's character, who's named Lydia, I think. He like is more like, not Lydia, Delilah. He's more of like Delilah's like right shoulder demon in the musical than he is in the movie. Like in the movie, he's really genuinely just an interior designer. He just like, you should put this there and this there, and she like trusts him a lot, I guess. But in the film, in the play, he's kind of like got an ulterior motive almost, but he's killed by Beetlejuice in the musical, whereas like in the movie it's kind of implied that he's killed, similar to like the boss in one of the last scenes where like Beetlejuice like shoots the boss and his wife into the sky. We kind of assume that they die as a result of that, but it's not really said. And then in the musical he takes advantage of Delilah more, apparently. There was also a Girl Scout added to the musical. I'd love to see the musical. I would. But it's a Broadway, and so similar to like Hamilton, unless it's like put on Disney Plus, where Disney can get Ubers and goobers of dollars off of it. I don't know. But the Maitlands in the musical crash into a river. They fall through the floorboards in the musical, but they crash into the river in the movie because obviously it's a little bit harder to depict a river car crash in a musical. But yeah, so themes overall, I think we have like trust as a big theme because it's like the daughter's inability to trust her parents, her having to like determine or Lydia determining like who to trust. At one point she trusts the Maitlands, at another point she doesn't. At one point she never trusts her parents, and then at one point she trusts Beetlejuice and she doesn't, and Beetlejuice constantly breaks that trust. Similar, like Beetlejuice is always a symbolism of like not trusting demons. Like he always breaks the trust or always finds like a loophole in like whatever he promises to people, and so we never see like Beetlejuice as a true like trustable character. And then I think another big thing is like family, because at the end, and like I tried to Google like the meaning of the ending, but like at the end we obviously see like the daughter starts to live with the family, like the Maitlands, and her parents I guess get killed. I don't know, I couldn't tell if they got killed, and then they became little ghosts in the little world that the dad built. But it's very clear that the Maitlands are still ghosts because Winona's character comes in and is like, hey, I got pictures of the brand new science building and like all of these buildings for him to like signify that like he still can't leave the house and he's still a ghost. But I think the parents are dead too, and they just forced them to live within the small town. It looked like that's where they were living. Beetlejuice goes back to like the other side and like needs to get a new case where I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I Googled a lot, like, what does the ending mean? But I need to Google some more. I need to do some more research. I might put that here. We'll see. We'll see if I get to it. I might just start editing this and crash land into it. But, yeah, trust as a big theme. And then just, like, creepy. Like, everything is creepy. Everything's supposed to make your skin crawl a little bit. Like, you leave the theater feeling a little uncomfortable, like, ooh, what did I just watch? Like, and you almost want to whisper Beetlejuice, like, but it's not real. So, like, it brings you into the world. Similar to, like, Harry Potter, like, although the world is completely made up and a little bit disconnected, like, you're brought into it to so much that you leave the theater, like, waving a fake wand. Or, like, anytime I see a superhero movie, specifically Spider-Man, and I leave the theater and I'm hitting the Spider-Man pose in the parking lot. Like, it brings you so much into the world, even though the world is so fantastical, that like you feel as like you're a character in the scenes with them, like not even watching from the outside. Although there is the part of like when the Maitlands are sitting in the office with Luna, what the girl's name is? Juno. What am I on? Drugs? The Maitlands are sitting in the office with Juno, and like outside of the office, you can see other people like waiting, and you almost think it's the waiting room. But from what I read, those people are supposed to signify like us as the audience watching the Maitlands. And so the film is almost self-aware that like we are watching this from the outside and not experiencing it with them. But I almost feel like I'm just like being dragged along, like I'm just the third ghost, like learning all this stuff with them, also just as confused. As the audience, we're not given, again, many like insider notes. We're kind of just at the will of the story, which is good and bad, because sometimes you want your audience not to be able to predict what's going to happen next, and that gives you the ability to creep them out, to scare them, whatever. But at the same time, like, you always want your audience to know the most. So I did constantly feel like I knew more than other characters, but at the same time, because we were in the perspective of the Maitlands, who like have the most knowing power in this universe, Beetlejuice I guess has a little bit more knowing power, and Juno as well, but like beyond that, I feel like we knew a lot of what was going to happen, or like how things worked, and that allowed us to be feeling more comfortable in situations where we didn't know what was going to happen. So let's just jump into Second Date Never, because I've been talking for an hour. Again, this is why I need to watch more real classics. Okay, it's maybe not even an hour, because I spent the first 10 minutes trying to just set this up, and I was recording at the same time. But this is why I need to watch more true classics, because I want to be able to talk for so long. I want to be able to just talk and compare it to other films and think about it and just like let my brain dump out. So anyway, Second Date Never, absolutely. Again, I think I need to go jump back into the 80s, because as I read from that list, the 80s is cuckoo crazy cool, and that's where I want to be, is the 80s. So Second Date Never, yes, I think this movie was weird. I though was scared as a child by Shark Boy and Lava Girl, so I will say this movie creeped me out kind of a lot. Like more than it should have at 25 years old. But Halloween was always my least favorite holiday, because I hated being scared. I was scared of the Sweet Life on Deck episode. Like, I'm a scary person. I don't like being afraid. I don't like being fearful. Yeah, so therefore, like, I left it feeling a little creeped out. I had also watched another creepy film before. No. I was playing, do you know you can go to Target and get those like mystery case files where you can like solve what happened? So I was solving this murder, and they give you a picture of like the girl dead. So at the same time as me being like, oh my god, this girl is dead, let me hurry up, because now they're doing stuff outside. I had then watched Beetlejuice, and I'm just thinking about death. I'm just going to sleep thinking about death. So, yeah, I was sufficiently creeped out. I think the movie did what it was supposed to do. I think if I went and saw this in the 80s, I'd be like, oh, you spent all this money on me? Of course, 80s movie tickets were probably not $50 million like modern day movie tickets, but yeah, I really did thoroughly enjoy it. It makes me want to go to the theater and like see a movie in person. Let me see what's in theaters right now. So like right now, the Five Nights at Freddy's. Low key, on the lowest of keys, I actually want to go see that because I just want to go see it. I just like am so confused, and I kind of want to see what they did with Josh Hutcherson, and I think it'd be really funny, because I'm confused as to whether Josh Hutcherson is going to be in the new, but I don't think he is, because the new, I'm going to say Catching Fire, the new Hunger Games movie is a prequel to the original Hunger Games. It's like Hunger Games 5 or something, when we're on like 75 in the newest movie. So it's like a big, deeper explanation of like how the Hunger Games came to be and like what it looked like. And I think it's gonna be so creepy and weird. And I think that's a big reason why they're releasing it in this Halloween season, because how do you explain why we suddenly just started sending two 18-year-olds off to get killed in a Grecian style Olympics, almost like Hunger Olympics. Like, how do you explain that? And how do you explain that we just kept doing it? I don't know. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go see that as well. Again, so many movies up my sleeve. I might start uploading off like a scheduled time. I might just start uploading. I don't know, because I don't like the pressure of getting to Thursday and not having to upload. But I like to I also think I need to get back on a very strict schedule with myself for all of my things, because I feel so off kilter. I feel like I let the ADHD take over at some point, and now I'm like eating the bullet every day. But biting the bullet, that's like dying. No, I'm just like at will of my ADHD and not like actually getting things done. So I'm trying to get back to a super strict schedule so I can start getting things done for really. So yeah, thank you guys for staying along with that. Beetlejuice is a crazy movie. Please go watch it. If you've never seen it before, please go see it. I stand as living proof as to why it's a really great film, and you need to watch it, and you need to know what's going on. Not gonna be Beetlejuice for Halloween. Artie's still gonna be Draco. Said that, been there, done that. Draco for Halloween. I'm gonna be blonde next week. Stay tuned. Thank you guys. Peace.